There's this moment, and maybe you've felt it. It doesn't always crash in loud, doesn't arrive with a sign. Sometimes it just settles, like a weight behind your chest, quiet. After one too many sleepless nights, after plans fall through again, after trying so hard to fix something that clearly won't move. You're doing everything right. Journaling, meditating, scripting, praying, vision boards taped to the wall, hustling like your worth depends on it. And still no shift. You find yourself whispering, why isn't it working? And not just once, over and over again. Here's the thing I've had to learn the hard way, and maybe you're learning it now. You can't force alignment with a clenched fist. The universe doesn't respond to force. It responds to surrender. Carl Jung put it plainly, and kind of painfully, when he said, what you resist not only persists, but grows. So maybe underneath all those affirmations, the energy you're really putting out is, I don't believe this is possible. I'm scared. I don't have it. I'm not enough. And the world, it doesn't listen to your words. It listens to your frequency. That's why things aren't clicking. Not because you're lazy, or broken, or lacking, but because you're still in survival mode. Still trying to control outcomes that were never yours to hold. See, you don't magnetize what you want. You draw in what you are. And when you're built around fixing, chasing, proving, life starts reflecting that emptiness right back to you. Not to punish you, but to wake you up. So let me ask you something you maybe haven't asked yourself. What would happen if you stopped? Stopped striving. Stopped performing, stopped micromanaging divine timing like it was an Excel spreadsheet, and just breathed, not out of giving up, but out of wisdom, out of trust that what's meant for you won't need to be begged for. Because here's what Jung's work whispers when the noise dies down. Healing doesn't begin when you do more. It begins when you finally allow the psyche to breathe. When you stop meddling, the unconscious can move. The shadow starts to integrate. The healing begins where the pushing ends. So no, this isn't the end of your effort. This is the beginning of your surrender. It's not about giving up. It's about giving in. Let go. Watch what happens. Chapter 1. Stop chasing. You're getting in your own way. We've been fed this lie, haven't we? That success comes from hustle, that love rewards the relentless, that if we just grind hard, what we're aching for will fall into our hands. But Jung never taught us to chase. He taught us to turn around and ask why we're running in the first place. So ask yourself, that thing you're chasing, is it actually what you want? Or is it a cover-up, a patch on an old wound? Because, and I'm just being honest here, when you crave love with desperation, it's rarely about connection. It's usually about abandonment. When you obsess over success, it might not be about money. It might be about proving something to someone who didn't see you. Jung didn't teach motivation. He taught confrontation. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life. And you will call it fate, which is just devastatingly accurate. You think you're chasing goals, but you're often reenacting trauma, trying to win battles you lost years ago. And what you don't realize is, every time you strive from that place of lack, you're telling the universe, I need this to feel whole. So it reflects your belief right back to you. You're not whole. That's why you burn out chasing jobs that drain you. People who don't stay validation that fades 2 hours after it lands. Because it was never about the thing. It was about what you thought the thing would fix. But let's be honest, if that thing showed up tomorrow, the dream partner, the 6-figure offer, the perfect whatever, would you even be able to hold it? Or would your nervous system short-circuit from all the suppressed self-doubt? Jung wasn't here to hype you up. He was here to help you integrate, to stop chasing success and start facing yourself. Ask yourself this gently: what part of me still believes I'm not enough? Because when you tend to that, you stop chasing what was never real in the first place. And you start magnetizing what your soul was always meant to carry. This isn't about quitting. It's about cleaning up the parts of you that chase out of fear. It's about becoming the version of yourself that doesn't need, but simply is. That's when the universe stops testing you and starts responding to you. Chapter 2. The unconscious is always listening. Here's the truth that hit me like a truck in the best way. Life isn't testing you. It's mirroring you. Not what you say, not what you post, what you are, at your core. Jung knew this and didn't sugarcoat it. He said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens." Translation: stop scanning the sky for signs. Start looking into your own emotional weather. Because here's the raw truth. If the unconscious mind is full of fear, doubt, guilt, and trauma, you can write affirmations until your pen runs dry. Doesn't matter. Your psyche knows what you really believe. You can't lie to it. It holds receipts. That tight feeling when you visualize your dream life, that's not just nerves. It's your unconscious saying, "I don't believe you yet." And the universe, it listens to that. So the goal isn't to hustle harder. It's to pause, to listen, to stop throwing positivity on top of inner panic and call it healing. True alignment happens in stillness. It's quiet work. And honestly, it's terrifying at first. Because when you stop moving, the feelings you've been dodging show up at the door. But you need them to. Because every fear is a flashlight. Every hesitation is data. So sit with it. Decode it. Let it speak before you drown it in good vibes only slogans. Because the moment you stop forcing divine timing with your own panic, that's when everything starts shifting. You don't chase alignment. You become it. And that becoming, it begins right here, in this breath, in this stillness. No more running. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're waking up. Chapter 3. Detachment isn't giving up. It's waking up. Let's get something straight from the start. Letting go isn't losing. It's waking up. It's that quiet, unexpected moment when you realize, I was never meant to carry all this. You don't detach because you failed. You detach because somewhere deep inside something finally clicks. I was never here to control life. I was here to understand who I am inside it. That's a completely different game. Detachment isn't some spiritual shoulder shrug. It's not pretending you don't care. Honestly, I've tried that. Scrolling Instagram, telling myself I'm over it while checking for their name every 5 minutes. That's not detachment. That's denial in a hoodie. Real detachment. It's rooted, calm. It says, I've done my part. Now I trust what I can't control. It's not apathy. It's energetic boundaries. Jung got this. He wasn't out here telling people to grind harder or cling tighter. He knew the truth lands when you let the ego loosen its grip. When you surrender, not from defeat, but from alignment. And here's the wild part. You can't fake detachment. You can say all the right things, write the affirmations, even post them with a cool aesthetic. But your unconscious, it knows the truth. It feels the clench beneath your words. If your energy is still saying, I need this or I'm not enough, then guess what? Life mirrors that back. Every time. Because life doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your frequency. And detachment, it's not about killing desire. It's about removing dependency. It's whispering, even if this never happens, I am still whole. And then, almost like magic, things start flowing. Not because you chased them, but because you finally stopped pushing them away. Let me put it like this. The universe doesn't bend for the person screaming, "Complete me." It bends for the one who's already complete. So if you're sitting in heartbreak or confusion or obsessive loops, just stop for a second. Not in avoidance, but in curiosity. Ask yourself, what part of me still believes this one thing will fix everything? That's the part needing your attention, not fixing, just witnessing. Not your ex, not your parents, not your audience, you. The moment you see yourself fully, no shame, no filter, you stop chasing mirrors in others, because you become your own reflection. That's when the shift happens. You stop proving, you stop clinging, you start being. Chapter 4. Let the void be the void. Nobody talks about this enough. The part after you let go. The part where you expect relief, but all you get is silence. It's disorienting. Honestly, it sucks at first. You wake up, the sky looks the same. Your inbox is empty. The thing you thought would happen hasn't, and the mind kicks in. Did I mess it up? Was this even worth it? This right here is where most people fold, because somewhere deep in our conditioning, we were sold a myth. Let go and something better will instantly appear. Yeah, no, the universe doesn't run on your clock. It moves in rhythm with who you're becoming, not what you're demanding. This space you're in, it's called the void, and I know it feels like nothing, but it's everything. It's the in-between, the liminal space. The old version of you is gone, and the new version hasn't landed yet. And wow, is that uncomfortable. There's no map, no proof, just stillness, the kind that makes you want to grab your phone or run back to something familiar. But you can't go back. And going forward, it's not a straight line. Carl Jung, bless him, called this the creative void, and he meant it. In all chaos there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. You might not see it, but something sacred is happening beneath the surface. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your psyche is shifting. Your old cravings are untangling. Your future self is quietly assembling backstage. But, and this is key, just because you can't see it, doesn't mean it's not happening. Here's the trap. The ego hates the void. It says this isn't working. And the moment you believe that lie, you sabotage. You start chasing again, doubting again, over-efforting again. And that quiet alchemy that was building, it collapses. The void isn't punishment. It's purification. It's the breakdown before the rebuild. It strips away your reliance on validation, outcome, identity, until all that's left is your truth. The truth you've been avoiding. Now here's where it gets mystical. The void asks a question, one you can't skip. Can you embody the outcome before it arrives? Can you feel love before you're in the relationship? Can you feel abundance before the money hits? Can you feel free before anything changes? If you can, you collapse time. You stop waiting. You start vibrating. And reality, it adjusts accordingly. But you've got to pass the silence first. So if you're in the void, don't flinch. Don't scroll, fix, beg, distract. Stay, breathe, feel. Trust the nothing. It's doing more than you know. And when it's done, the quiet won't whisper anymore. It'll roar with alignment. Chapter 5. Obsession isn't manifestation. Integration is. Desire gets a bad rap in spiritual spaces. Like if you want something, you're somehow not enlightened enough. which is not only unhelpful but also kind of false. Wanting isn't the issue, it's why we want and how we carry that wanting. In Jungian terms, every desire is a flare from the unconscious, a signal, a metaphor, a map. You're not craving love because you just want cuddles. You're craving the safety and recognition your inner child never received. You're not chasing wealth just for the sake of numbers. You're trying to feel secure, seen, powerful, enough. The desire isn't wrong, but the attachment beneath it, that's the part we need to look at. Here's what most people do, and I've done it too. They obsess, they spiral, they turn longing into control. They refresh texts, they reread convos, they track signs like it's a full-time job, and they call that manifesting. But really, it's panic dressed up in spiritual clothes. Jung had a better idea: individuation. He wasn't about bypassing or pretending. He was about integration. Wholeness doesn't mean you stop desiring. It means you stop outsourcing your identity to those desires. You bring your whole self in: shadow, shame, brilliance, mess, all of it. And when you do, something softens. You stop needing life to fill your gaps. You realize maybe there are no gaps. You're not attracting what you obsess over. You're attracting what you've made peace with. So next time you catch yourself spiraling around a goal or a person or a timeline, gently ask, what part of me still thinks this thing will complete me? And listen, because the moment you remember who you are, not in theory but in your bones, you stop chasing. You become. And the wildest thing, life starts chasing you. Chapter 6, the ego wants control, the soul, peace. Okay, let's be real for a second. That part of you constantly checking your phone, rereading old texts, refreshing that email tab for the 5th time today. That's not your higher self speaking. That's your ego in full freak-out mode. The ego hates uncertainty. It's addicted to predictability. It needs the illusion of control just to breathe. And when it doesn't get that, it starts spinning stories, dramatic ones. Your nervous system gets hijacked. Suddenly, panic is labeled as intuition. But let's not confuse the two. Intuition whispers. Ego screams. Intuition is calm. Ego is chaos. I've seen this play out in myself and so many others. That anxious tightness in your chest. It's not divine guidance. It's old fear wearing a new outfit. Jung got this. He wasn't theorizing from some ivory tower. He lived the friction between the ego and the soul. The ego wants certainty. It wants results now. The soul, though, it's playing a different game entirely. The soul doesn't chase. It remembers. It knows what's coming. It just doesn't care to obsess about the timeline. Here's the kicker. The ego asks, how will I get what I want? The soul says, what feels true for me right now? And yeah, that can be maddening, because we're conditioned to prove, to earn, to force outcomes. But the soul just wants to be. Carl Jung once wrote, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But the version of you that's constantly refreshing, spiraling, doubting, that's not the real you. That's the you trying to survive the noise. The real you, the one beneath the fear, isn't afraid of quiet. It doesn't need constant confirmation to feel okay. It exhales. It trusts. It understands this deeply uncomfortable truth. Anything real can't be rushed. So when you feel yourself spiraling, don't fix, don't hustle, don't perform. Just pause. Place your hand on your heart seriously, do it, and ask, is this fear or is this truth? If it's desperate, tight, urgent ego, if it's spacious, grounded, still soul, this doesn't mean stop dreaming. Dream big, love boldly, show up but stop clinging. Stop choking your vision with pressure. Manifestation isn't a sprint, it's a vibration. And panic, it's static. When you choose peace over pressure, again and again, something incredible starts to happen. You stop reacting to life, and you start co-creating it. Peace isn't passive, it's powerful. It's the energy that says, I don't chase, I attract. And what's aligned finds me. Chapter 7, Shadow Work is Manifestation Work. Let me say it straight. You can't manifest your way into a whole life by only loving the shiny parts of yourself. That's not how it works. You can journal all day, light candles, chant affirmations till your voice gives out. But if you're still terrified of your own anger, grief, shame, or insecurity, it's going to leak into your reality, because the universe doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you energetically are. And if your inner world is fractured, that frequency gets broadcast loud and clear. Carl Jung called it the shadow, and no, it's not some creepy villain lurking in the dark. It's just the parts of you you've tried to hide. That jealousy you pretend you don't feel. That rage you swallow to keep the peace. That deep-rooted belief that you're never quite enough. Yep, all of that is the shadow. And until you face it, until you say, I see you and you're allowed to exist, it'll keep running the show behind the scenes. It'll shape your relationships. It'll hijack your finances. It'll sabotage your growth. Because here's the thing no one tells you. If you manifest from an unhealed place, from lack, from fear, from needing validation, you'll get exactly that reflected back to you. A relationship that amplifies your abandonment wounds. Money that disappears the moment it arrives. Success that feels like pressure instead of peace. Integration is the secret. It's not sexy. It's not flashy. It's not instantly gratifying. But it's real. Every time you ask, what am I trying to fix by wanting this? That's shadow work. Every time you pause mid-trigger and say, wait, what's really going on here? That's shadow work. It's not punishment, it's permission. To be whole, to be messy, to be complex, to stop outsourcing your worth and start owning your inner world. And here's what's wild. When your shadow feels safe with you, it calms down. It stops trying to sabotage things. It stops begging for attention through chaos. You become safe for yourself. Your nervous system relaxes. Your frequency rises. That's not wishful thinking. That's physics. That's somatic alignment. The version of you that can hold your light and your shadow. That's the version that becomes magnetic. Not needy. Not manipulative. Not performative, just whole. That's when the external world bends. Not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped running from your own reflection. This is the real work. The sacred work, not the hashtag version of spirituality, but the soul-level stuff. The kind that makes you whisper, oh, I've been asking for the future, while avoiding the parts of me stuck in the past. Not anymore. Now you integrate. Now you listen. Now you choose wholeness over perfection. And in that you stop manifesting from wounds and start creating from your truth. That's Jung. That's alignment. That's actual freedom. Chapter 8. Stop being the one blocking your own path. All right, this one might sting, But let's not dance around it. The biggest thing keeping you from the life you crave, it's not your trauma. It's not your upbringing. It's not Mercury in retrograde. It's you. I know that's not easy to hear. But Jung, Carl Jung, the guy who cracked open the human psyche in a way that still echoes today, he nailed it. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. That kind of radical self-acceptance, it's not for the faint of heart. Because it means looking directly at the parts of yourself you've been dodging for years. The guilt, the self-loathing, the unspoken fear that maybe you're not as lovable as you pretend to be. So what do we do instead? We chase, we hustle, we try to manifest, affirm, and visualize our way out of discomfort. Not because we truly believe, but because we're desperate to outrun the silence inside. Here's the raw truth though. Anything you're using to escape yourself will eventually escape you. Let that sink in. You think you're chasing your dream life, but sometimes that dream is just another distraction from the deeper work. The universe isn't withholding stuff from you to be cruel, it's holding off because, well, maybe you couldn't hold it yet. Not fully, not sustainably. Because if deep down you still believe you're unworthy, you'll find a way to lose the very thing you said you wanted. Jung pointed out something wild. When you reject parts of yourself, you fragment. One part of you is out there chanting, "I'm ready," but another part is quietly whispering, "I'm not." And that contradiction, it confuses the hell out of your energy. It scrambles your signal. You're not cursed. You're just in conflict. You're still operating from the version of yourself built in survival mode. The one who learned to earn love instead of simply receiving it. And that old version, it doesn't trust ease. It doesn't feel safe with good things. It waits for the other shoe to drop. Here's the hard part. Most people spend their whole lives trying to change outcomes when what they really need is to shift identity. Not do more, not hustle harder. Just become the version of you that already believes, "I am worthy, I am ready, I am enough." Because here's a universal law no one puts on Pinterest. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. And if your energy is still humming with self-doubt or hidden shame, that's what life will mirror back to you. So if nothing's moving, if everything feels stuck, or like it's slipping through your fingers, ask yourself, what part of me still believes I have to suffer before I'm allowed to receive? When you stop trying to perform worthiness and start embodying it, things shift. Maybe not instantly, maybe not in fireworks, but steadily, organically, deeply. This is the actual work, the soul work. It's not always sexy. It rarely gets viral, but it's what turns alignment into reality. So here's the invitation. Stop chasing. Start becoming. Stop overthinking. Start integrating. Stop blocking. Start allowing. You're just being asked to expand. And when you do, that's when you stop manifesting like a strategy and start manifesting like it's your nature. That's what Jung meant by individuation. That's what wholeness feels like. Final chapter, you're not manifesting, you're remembering. Let's close this out with the most freeing idea Jung ever hinted at. One I keep coming back to, you're not manifesting, you're remembering. I know, sounds poetic, but stay with me. All this time you thought the point was to create a life from scratch, to attract something external that would finally make it all feel worth it. The partner, the money, the clarity, the peace. So you did the work. You journaled, you visualized, you sat with your shadow. You repeated affirmations like a mantra. But what if the goal wasn't to call something in, but to strip away everything that told you it wasn't already yours? That's the twist. Jung's genius wasn't about helping people build better egos. He helped people peel them back to find what was underneath. The truth? You're not missing anything. You're just layered in forgetfulness. The version of you that's whole, aligned, deeply in love with life. That's not a future you. That's your original you. Your inner blueprint. But life, society, pain, programming. It gets noisy. And somewhere in all that noise, you lost the signal. You forgot you didn't need to earn love. You forgot you didn't have to perform to belong. You forgot that your worth was never conditional. And so you built masks. You became who the world told you to be, and lost touch with who you actually are. But now you're on the path back. And the work isn't to build, it's to clear, to dismantle the stories, the fear, the patterns that don't fit anymore, to stop fixing yourself and start finding yourself. That anxious voice in your head, that's not you. That's your survival self, the witness underneath, the one who watches with compassion. That's the real you. And here's the kicker. When you stop grasping, when you let go of the hustle, the proving, the trying, you return, not to emptiness, but to stillness, to presence, to the you who always knew. That's when things start clicking, not because you cracked the code, but because you finally got quiet enough to hear the truth. You don't need to chase the life you want. You just need to become the one who can receive it. That's not manifesting. That's remembering. And you've remembered enough. Now it's time to be, to breathe, to allow that, because the version of you who trusts is already aligned with everything you thought you had to chase. Today we explored how resistance, survival mode, and unconscious fears keep us chasing illusions instead of becoming whole. Explore the unconscious with us. Subscribe so you don't miss the next videos.